You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, and exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now, in Disney.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome into After the Storm. My goodness, we got a big program planned for you tonight. Well, we've got former Jehovah's Witness GAIL. She's coming in from Houston, Texas, and she has some very special guests coming on tonight as well. So let's bring GAIL in right now, bring her into the stream. Hello, GAIL.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, Rick.
So there you are, GAIL. You're looking like a movie star as usual, and you got a couple more movie stars coming on with you.
Oh,
So
I'm so
why don't you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, well, welcome to another episode of After the Storm. I'm your host, GAIL, from chilly Houston, Texas. But thank you for joining us every other Saturday night. I think it's safe to say that Jehovah's Witnesses love truth, right? And as Jehovah's Witnesses, we were taught to not only love truth, but to speak up on behalf of the truth. But what happens when you find out the truth about the truth? Well, tonight I'm honored to bring on Joe and Fran. Some of you may have heard them speak, over the previous weeks, but they are my guests tonight. Hello, Joe and Fran. Welcome to After the Storm. It's nice to put a face to the voice that we've been hearing.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I didn't know we were on cam.
I hope it's okay.
Oh, you look fine. You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
would that be safe to say? Is that what happened to you? You found out the truth about the truth?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We believed whatever they said. The truth. As most of the people did, and if they didn't, they wouldn't stay.
Yeah. And that's what Carrie was
searching.
saying.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that we were searching for the truth, and we thought we found it, but 36 years later, we found out it wasn't the truth.
Wow.
That
must have been fascinating. So how did you find that out?
On the internet.
There were others, who mentioned things along the way, but we just didn't give it any attention. We kept listening to what the society said, and I always listened with skepticism, because personally, I never really wanted to attend.
Really?
I did because no, really, I really. We had 4 young children at the time, and Fran was interested in a social way,
And for the children.
and for the children.
Yeah.
And that was probably the biggest motivation. And I was open to it, but I wasn't hungry for it.
Okay.
So we kept attending. And honestly, we just thought we'd give it a fair chance.
Well, but the problem is once you start attending and they love bomb you, and you start getting involved, going to assemblies, working on the quick builds, it becomes part of your life, and you keep so busy with it, with meetings, you don't think about it, really, what you're doing.
They know what they're doing. And someone who called in and mentioned he doesn't think that they really exercise mind control. I think he might need to do more research. I think he's missing something, because that's everything that they actively work at doing. They strive to do that, because everything we do is through our senses.
Yeah.
It's through what we've read, what we read, and what we see and hear, and and just being in attendance, listening to them. It is mind control. And see, the point is that I thought if we didn't agree with them, then we would be exercising our mind. We would be resisting their mind.
Yeah, and
But
using.
instead we went along with their mind. That's called mind. That's called mind control.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. Maybe he doesn't want to believe that it's mind control, but honestly, if we didn't bring our mind, it couldn't be controlled.
That's true. That's true.
And so we agreed. We agreed.
In the early 80s,
We agreed to have our mind control.
Yeah, there seemed to be an influx.
There's a delay.
Right? Is there a delay? I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a delay. I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
Okay. No, I was saying towards the late 80s, do you remember seemed to be an influx of witnesses?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's when they went from black and white print to color, to vibrant color.
Yes.
And like you said, when you mentioned, they use the senses.
Oh, yeah.
Sight, smell, touch, seeing those vibrant colors of paradise really woke up your senses. So yeah, they're very good at what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. A matter of fact, I would be surprised if, they didn't have a team behind them that's coaching them on how you get people in line. And that's what's happening now. People are waking up and we're not able to be controlled anymore. We're using our minds and they're losing their minds. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? We're losing our grip. It's not working anymore.
Yeah. No, so true. But it does show up that there's different sorts in the organization. I mean, just within our own family, we see different. We've got 4 young children who are in their 30s and 40s now.
Yeah.
They have their own minds, but they're all different. And some of them, apparently, all of their minds are so inclined toward the society. To as near as we know. On the other hand, our minds are not aligned toward that. What they say, it doesn't have the same effect on us. Doesn't have the same effect on you than it has on someone else who's in.
Yeah.
So they're finding out that they're losing certain minds. But boy, for a time it was working like gangbusters.
Oh yeah.
There was increase after increase after increase.
Well, that's when we came in 1985. And from 85 to the 90s, there was a big increase.
Yeah.
And I always remember them mentioning Japan, how much increase was in Japan. And every month they'd always give all the increases. Well, they don't do that anymore.
No.
I wonder why they don't do that anymore.
And there's a big learning curve. In fact, the learning curve always was taking place, and it's that people were slowly coming to understand how they behaved, what they did, and we watched people leave. We watched people come and then go, and they weren't in large numbers, but it was regular. They didn't all stay. Apparently, their minds weren't accessible, like.
Right.
Our minds were accessible until, of course, you get to the point where, no, my mind is not accessible anymore for what you're offering. And there are people who are continuing. There are people who are continuing to come out.
Yeah. So the biggest thing with us that we recognized is when we saw the ARC, the Australian Royal Commission, with all the CSA. And that was it, just made me sick. And I said, I can't stay in this. And previous a few years, it's interesting how you get all this cognitive dissonance. But a few years prior, there was this sister at the hall, and she mentioned how, she's not giving money to the society because they're using the money in court.
This session is no longer being recorded.
I
Like clockwork.
So anyway, we didn't think anything of it. She mentioned something to us, and you kind of put it in the back of your mind. But then Joe did some research,
which was quite a
and
while after
yeah, it
that.
was like
Quite a while.
yeah, at least
Years.
4 years
Yeah.
after that. But anyway, we found out
What
it was true.
motivated me to start checking is the more and more I listened and watched the governing body members give their talks, I simply could not take them seriously.
Yeah.
The way they presented themselves, what they said, how they said it, they made the mistake of showing their faces. They really did. They really made the mistake of showing their faces.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at them and says, I can't believe one thing they say.
Yeah. You were like, that's it?
That's like, these
yeah.
guys are as slimy and as crooked as the day is long. And they're showing it. I mean, I guess I've always read people through their faces, and as most of us strive to do. And my goodness, I just couldn't believe. I couldn't believe they were actually trying to get away with it.
Oh, wow.
And the sad thing is they were getting away with it with most of the people.
Yeah.
And that was the scariest part.
Yeah.
So I said, these guys are lying. They're as guilty and as lying as the day is long.
Yep.
And
the first thing we did was approach the elders. We went to the elders, and this was during Zoom. So we had 2 elders, 2 younger than us. We're 70. And, we told them our concerns. We said we had heard that, there's CSA going on. There had been going on. They said, oh, no, it's a lie. You can't believe it. It's on the internet. You can't believe it. We go, this was a documentary. This is like news. This is like CNN. Oh, no, they just lie. And this never happened. And if it ever happened here, well, you can be sure that we would take care of it. And we just didn't believe them.
And I said, you can't assure me of anything.
Wow.
You're not going to be able to assure me of anything. And at that point, I just did more research, and
we had a second meeting with them.
Yeah.
And by this time, they didn't like Joe's attitude.
I didn't like anything they were offering.
And, they just...
No, at that point, they realized they had absolutely no respect for them. Yeah. I personally, I have absolutely no respect for an elder. I don't. If an elder, because...
Really quickly then, you're waking up, you're coming out, it sounds like it happened quickly.
It was years that I...
Okay.
Yeah. I was a ministerial servant for a few years, reluctantly. I really didn't want to be. I just went along because that's what you're supposed to do. And I was always willing and interested in helping things take place. I was that way, and so being there, I said, "Well, I'm willing to help. We'll help make things work." But I just didn't like the way they arranged people, the way they controlled. They literally controlled people. Tremendous hierarchy, not only hierarchy, but the way they were very rank oriented, very rank oriented, and honestly, so immature, incredibly immature. And it's like, okay, I'll go along, we'll play the game. And I couldn't, and more, I was hating myself more and more for the way I was having to play the game, because it wasn't me. You have to bury yourself and play the game. And it's like, if guys really enjoy this, I really don't like them.
Wow.
And when we had the opportunity to reach out to be an elder, it's like, that's the last thing in the world I would want to do. The last thing, for the way the elders behaved and for the way they treated people. I says, that's no way to treat people. They're not shepherds. In no way are they shepherds. they're enforcers.
And also the way we treated our family, because, you know, we were supposed to be this exemplary family. Our children were supposed to behave, which they did. People were wondering if we drugged them up before going to the meeting, but we didn't have to. They were just very obedient, but we were abusive to them. Okay. And they were afraid. We put the fear in them. But it started with the Watchtower putting the fear in us.
And that's the thing that I hated, and I really disapprove of myself for the way I was affected. I was affected by fear. In other words, my children are going to lose their lives in Armageddon if they don't comply with everything that the society wants them to comply with.
Right.
Well, what position does it put me in? Well, I've got to do everything to get them to comply. And it's like, oh. And at that point, it's like, this is, we weren't that way previously. We were not. We weren't. But you come under this notion of what they say, this beautiful dream. It's like a beautiful dream that they were presenting. And they present it as if it's real, and you're in it, so it must be real. Otherwise, why would you be in it? Yeah. And that's the way it works for the mind.
And we don't know what damage we've done to the
The recording has started.
You know, you don't know the damage that we've done to the family. Here they all turned out to be pioneers.
Wow.
They all learned a language. They all went to where the need was greater. I mean, they filled the role perfectly, and now they're shunning us because, you know, we're the ones that spoke out against.
Yeah.
And see, we're probably hurting them because it's as if we've abandoned them.
Yeah, they can't understand it because we were very close as a family.
Very close.
You can see all the pictures in the back. It's all family pictures.
We
the
work.
whole wall.
We work together. We work together as a family business. We did everything
We
together.
homeschooled.
Yeah.
Pioneered together.
And the worst thing we did was attend meetings together. That's the worst thing we ever did. It really is.
Well, just think of it as a salesman strategy, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're salesmen, and what they're selling is hope and fear simultaneously.
Yep.
They sell you the hope and the fear that if you don't do it, you won't get there, right? But something happened along the years to, you know, it could be them coming out, showing their faces, or using video now in every, you know, at every meeting where people started waking up. But, you know, people were waking up from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, you know. I think we're kind of late. We're kind of late on there, but it's better late than never.
Well, look, Gail, I think that there were a lot that either had access to the internet and used it previously for early on. And I'm sure they were finding out about the society. I'm sure they were, but we didn't. Look, the apostates knew what was going on. They knew what was going on with the society. We went to all the conventions where the apostates were. I listened to their claims about the way they, with the money and whatever else, but I didn't I didn't pay attention to it. But they must, but see, in my mind, I don't think these people are making everything. I think these people are sincere, but we chose to ignore that.
Yeah.
Well, we shouldn't. We shouldn't have ignored that.
Yeah.
But we did because that's loyal. Loyalty meant ignoring it.
Right.
Okay. So you'd be loyal.
Well, there was this older brother. His saying was, better late than never.
Yeah.
And now we can say that, better late than never.
We're late to the party, and there are others that are going to be later to the party than us. Well, we're in a position to want to help them.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, you're pretty open about your age, right? What would you say to those who are in your age bracket who think Rick was talking about the sunk cost or the sink cost earlier, right? What would you say to people in your age group that know there's something wrong, but they're like, I've spent so many years, might as well stay or whatever? Do you have any advice for those people?
We are enjoying life
Yeah.
that we never enjoyed. We went to my 52nd class reunion.
Wow.
We celebrated Joe's mom's 95th birthday.
Oh, wow.
We celebrated Easter. I mean, we celebrated holidays before becoming Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's not like ones that we're born in and like this is the first time. But we're actually enjoying life.
And with anyone, changing one attitude can change your whole life.
Yeah.
And you can change an attitude within minutes, seconds. It's the beginning of a new point of view. And then not only changing an attitude, now you change your behavior and change your pattern, and your life changes. I don't care who it is, I don't care how old they are. Now you can't always change your health. You may be able to improve it. You may be able to if you change a habit. Truly can, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
So what we see is there are a lot of older friends, older than us, who are getting out. So we're in between.
You're in between.
There's ones older than us.
Yeah.
Age. In fact, what I say is the older you are, the sooner you should do it. You have less time to waste, more time to enjoy.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're not spending a lot of time looking back. You've done so much this year already.
Oh, we've got a lot more to do. A lot more to do.
And on Sundays, we'll go for a drive somewhere, and Joe will say, well, where do you want to go today? And I'll say, well, I chose the last time, now it's your turn. And we went back to where I went to college, only about an hour away, and we walked, the whole campus. It was fun. We just enjoyed ourselves.
I don't want to dwell on how much time we wasted on Sundays doing something for the society. I don't want to dwell on that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I don't, because it's so massively wasteful. We wasted so much on that.
Yeah.
We really did.
But going to quick builds.
Oh my goodness.
Service.
You were very active. Yeah.
I was auxiliary pioneering for the last 5 years. I added it up, and I think it came out to, for 5 years, 50 hours a month. I think I spent 6,000 hours.
Oh my God.
On doing what? It's no, excuse me, not 6,000, 3,000.
3,000
hours. And I could have been spending that time, helping people in a real way. Well, that's what we're trying to do now. We're trying to find people. We have a business. So whenever we're finished doing we always ask people, do you know any Jehovah's Witnesses? And usually they say no, or yeah, they come to our door, and we'll tell them our story. Well, just last week, 2 ladies came in, and I said, do you know any Jehovah's Witnesses? And the one looked at the other, and she said, I was one. I go, oh, really? And it's just in a congregation that we attended, and she came in just as we were leaving, and she was so relieved to talk with us. She was with her daughter. Her daughter never became a witness. She became a witness because her brother was a witness. She's older, like our age, and the daughter just said, so glad we met you. My mother's been feeling so guilty. And I told her, I said, you have nothing to feel guilty about. So it's just one story where we were able to encourage someone.
We unwitness.
Oh, yeah, we unwitness.
We actively unwitness.
Yeah.
In fact, I almost would encourage everyone, all the exes, to count their time and unwitness as much as you can.
Yeah. I think we missed a big chunk of the story here. So you officially left last year, Joe. Then
I'm sorry. Say again, Gail.
I said, I think we missed a big chunk of the story. Did you officially leave last year, and how did you introduce it to Fran?
Officially, I don't know if there's any official, but what I did first in December, I started viewing the some of the XJW videos.
Mm-hmm.
It was Watchtower Falling. It was with
Is it Matt?
Matt. I don't know his last name, but
Okay.
that was the first video I watched. In fact, I follow him, and I just watched his latest one, which was like basically a warning to elders to be careful with the new laws about reporting child sexual abuse. He has a very good channel.
I can give you the exact date because I wrote it down
Yeah.
in our book. It was
Okay.
December 20th, and the reason why I know that is because I went to visit Joe's mom
She
in
was
the
gone at
nursing
the
home.
time,
I was gone.
so I could safely explore apostate literature.
I come home and Joe says, I've got to tell you something. And I go, what? And he says, I don't know how he put it, but I could tell that he was, into something. And I said, I don't want to hear it. Put the hand up. I don't want to hear it. So we kind of got, he said, well, you were, how did you say it? You used to be very, not stubborn.
Yeah,
but
your stubbornness served to cause many problems previously.
yeah. So I
say,
felt guilty.
will it continue?
Yeah. So he put the guilt on me, but I was successful that whole night not to hear anything. But then the next day I said, all right, and he started we started watching videos, and I think we've talked the longest in our whole marriage. Our marriage improved because we actually talked. We actually communicated rather than just
This
stupid
is
stuff.
so restrictive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, society places such bad restrictions on individuals. It's the most horrible way to conduct your marriage life, by being witnesses. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It really is.
It makes it awkward. Like you think that everything you talk about has to be about the society or, something in the Watchtower. So
And you're judging each other's faith at the same time.
yeah.
It's absolutely designed to control people, and there are some very genius minds that know us better than we know ourselves, much better.
Yeah.
But they don't.
And then when people start controlling each other's minds, that's ingenious too.
Yes. They get us to police each other.
Yes.
And we're not here for that. We are not here to be policed by each other.
Yeah. So what happened the next day, Fran?
Yeah.
Oh, so the next day I listened and we watched some videos, and eventually we saw the ARC. It wasn't too long after that, and yeah, we said, no, that's it. So that's when we spoke to the elders, and then we talked to the kids, and I really was able to talk to them about the ARC. I was able to give them details, although they didn't believe it. At least they heard about it. We went on a trip to Florida, and that was a disaster.
Wasn't good.
It was not good because Joe started talking about the governing body. Our son was texting the elders as we're talking to him.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he was supposed to bring us to the airport. We had an evening flight home. He brought us early that morning. He says, I can't have you staying here anymore. I can't have you talking about this in my apartment. And he took us to the airport, and we stayed at the airport all day. He was punishing us, his parents.
Well, he was protecting himself
and
too.
he felt he was protecting himself. And I'm sure that's what the elders told him to do.
He was protecting. I understand completely.
So Joe and I went to the airport and spent the whole day at the airport.
Had a
we
great time
we
there.
made the best of
Oh,
it.
really,
We had
truly,
a really
was
good
a nice time. It really was.
We met
some nice people there.
We had dinner there. Finally, we got in the airport, and it was fine. But slowly, little by little, they disengaged from us. We were, listening to the meetings and slowly fading out. We'd
Yeah.
have Zoom on, but we wouldn't be really listening to it.
And Gail, you asked about the elders too. See, twice we had asked to speak to the elders. We did. Well, then the next time one of the elders wanted to meet with us. Now, did they meet with us that time?
No.
No, he wanted to. And I said, well, I don't think so. Because I know what they wanted to do.
Right. Yeah.
So I said, no, I don't think we're going to need to do that. And so he goes on, blah, blah. And I said, well, maybe you can come up with another arrangement. Because I'm just not comfortable with the arrangement that you have.
Right.
If you can come up with another arrangement that's agreeable to both of us, that would be nice. Otherwise, I don't think it'll be necessary. And then I told him, but both of you or any of you are more than welcome to come and visit, but as regular men, without being in your official position as elders. I'm more than willing to relate with you in a normal way, but not as elders.
Yeah. I bet that took them by surprise. They've never had any. They're not used to people putting their foot.
I know.
So they don't know how to handle it.
If I can be blunt and open, the society cultivates, just as unfortunately they groom individuals, young and old, for sexual abuse. They groom them. The society also grooms males to be beta males.
Subservient,
yeah. They want beta males. They don't want alpha males, because beta males will listen to them because they're the alpha males.
Yeah.
Society's the alpha.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So there's many males in that organization, but there aren't many men. There's a lot of males.
Wow.
Not many men.
So
you have to go at them as alpha.
As an alpha, and they didn't know how to handle that.
Gilbert was nice enough to basically relate that. You know Gilbert, the brother running for a governing body.
Yeah.
I vote for him. No, he mentioned it. It's his observation, and I take that to heart. The society cultivates beta males. So if you go at them, alpha, they back down.
Yeah. Wow.
So they had a warning for Joe and I. They called it a warning talk. They were being very lenient with us because we had such a good reputation and because of our children, and two of them are in that congregation.
Wow.
So they called it a warning talk. But they said, we would not be, they were going to take our taking away our commenting privilege?
Oh, yeah.
Giving talks.
They took away my privilege to give talks temporarily.
Yeah,
I said,
mine
okay.
too. Mine too.
I didn't care. That's great.
Mine too.
And he says, but you won't be too long. You can get it back.
Yeah,
you'll
get back. You'll get back. They were very encouraging.
I said, thank goodness.
And so we never gave another talk.
Oh my goodness.
All you have to do is get your thinking in line and you can get your privilege back.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's like, what a relief. So basically, Fran, you woke up in a day? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, with Joe. Yeah, we do everything together. We got baptized together. We do everything together. We're kind of on the same page.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love you guys' relationship, because a lot of marriages don't make it.
No, I know.
It's absolutely true.
So it's awesome to see you.
Yeah, they're part of it, because the kids, they were siding with me against Joe. And they were saying, Mom, all you have to do is go to the elders and tell them what Pop has been watching.
Keep track of everything.
And they were, they really wanted to get me to go to the elders and come between our marriage, which we always had difficulties with anyway. And
Mhm.
it's like, no, you're
It's
not
like-
going to do that.
it's
I'm
like,
not going to do that.
It's ridiculous.
And so we
So
stopped.
all four, am I hearing this correctly? All four of your children are
Basically,
not speaking to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
And their
Correct.
mates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, look, we raised them in that organization. The fear that the society transmitted onto me, I transmitted onto them. I did a
Yeah.
good job,
Mhm.
and I regret that.
Hmm.
And it shows me how powerful an organization can have on an individual. I'm open. I'm an open kind of individual. Even though I've got strong feelings about things and have certain sensitivities, I'm open to experience it and to see what it's like. You know, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, it's dangerous. I should not have been as open. My personal boundaries were too loose, and that's where they invade personal boundaries. They have no respect for personal boundaries, none
Yeah.
at all, absolutely none. And that's why it's so important to consider what personal boundaries that we
Yeah.
need, and then to guard them. We have to guard those.
And it sounds like you came to a point where you had a choice to make, either them or you, and you chose yourself.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Your self-respect, even your dignity.
Oh,
You chose
well,
yourself.
look, for
Is that safe to
36,
say?
yeah, for 36 years, I gave it up. For 36 years, I was practicing being someone else.
Yeah.
And it's like, for what? For a bunch of liars? For a bunch of criminals? For a bunch of pedophiles and people that hide pedophiles? It's like, that's it. That's it. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No question. There's no question.
Well, I always say, I had a clip that I do want to show from the Australian Royal Commission,
Oh, yeah.
which I'm probably sure you watched. I wanted to get your feedback on what I'm
Yeah.
about to play because, and the reason I'm playing it is because there may be somebody here that's hearing it for the very first time tonight.
Yes.
You never know who's here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For instance, last week, somebody spoke up. They just came out 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just 4 months ago. So people are always coming out and they may not know about this. So
Yeah.
I want to play a short clip. I don't know if Rick can share the screen, if Rick is there. I don't know. But let me know. So I'm going to play it. You may not be able to see it, but you can hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want me to bring that up?
Oh, you're there. Okay. Yes, please. Okay. So this is Jeffrey Jackson at the Australian Royal Commission. And this, his deliberation was in 2 parts, and they're like an hour and a half each. But I want you to hear this clip.
It's not coming through.
Here comes. I'm trying to.
What we'll do, Gail, it's not the sound is not coming through here for some reason.
So,
Okay, so here's what we can do. What clip was it? Do you know? And I mean, if you want to send it to me, if I put it up, we can play it.
oh, wow. Okay.
What was it? What was he saying? Because I do have some clips here already.
Well, the lawyer asked him, would it be safe to say that they're God's only spokesman?
All right. Well, why don't we do this? You just continue to talk with Joe and Fran, and I will get it, and I'll get it up for us. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So
Well, if you pull up this video, it starts at about 1930.
Okay, I'll get in there and get it. Okay, don't you worry. I know the clip you have because I've used it before. So you
Okay.
guys, I'll get it back up. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought you could hear it. So,
No, I've seen it dozens of times, so I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're going to bring up.
yeah. But just imagine someone has never heard a governing body say that.
Oh,
When I heard that, I was like, what? I was already,
Yeah.
this was from 2015. I didn't see this until 2019, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And I was like, are you kidding me? I didn't know they felt that way. Like, that would have been, he was using the Bible, witnessing the entire time. Then this question comes along and he said, oh, that would be presumptuous. I'm
Oh,
like,
sure.
what? Wrong answer. That's not what we were taught. We were taught that this is God's one and only true organization.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting, Gail, because our daughter that is in Iowa, her very last words that she said to us, she was in Pioneer School and she called and she said, something's been really bothering me. I just want to know if you still feel the same way. And she asked us, she said, do you believe that the governing body is God's channel? You know, that they're using God. And we said no. And that she says, well, then you've answered my question and I don't need to talk to you anymore. And that was it. That was the last time she spoke with us. August 3rd, I wrote it down.
Oh my God.
That's the famous trigger question
Mm-hmm.
that anyone in society has to ask somebody. You know,
Yeah.
do you believe that the governing body is God's channel?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point,
Oh, they're like robots, you know, just.
they're what's called ideologically possessed. They have
Yeah.
an ideology and they're literally possessed with it, and they have no thinking of their own. They truly are mind controlled. They really are. So
So
for
I
them,
know for a time you were deliberating whether to write your letter of disassociation or not say anything. What did you ultimately decide on doing that?
good question.
Making your stand.
We did not write any dissociation.
Okay.
To our knowledge, we're not disfellowshipped.
Yeah,
To our
they haven't
knowledge.
said anything to us, so
We-
we're still on
But
the
we are
record.
being shunned
Yeah.
actively.
Mm-hmm. The lawyer.
Now, we went to a lawyer, and I told him our situation. I said I'd want to write a preemptive letter from a lawyer to them. And
That was just recent.
that was about a month ago.
About a month ago. Yeah.
Basically, we have the letter. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you probably could read parts of it if you have it.
Sure. I'd love to hear it.
Hey, Gail, I do have that clip if you want to play
Okay.
that.
Yes, please. Can we play it before we read the letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You do have it right here.
Members of the governing body,
Let me see.
yourselves as modern day.
Wow. I guess I don't know. We're having some issues with the sound on this one too, which is really kind of crazy.
Oh, nice.
So,
Is it me or is it this?
No,
could you hear it?
Does the governing body, or do the members of the governing body,
Yeah.
do you see yourselves as modern day disciples?
Hold on one
modern
second.
day
Let me just check
equivalent of
something here,
Jesus?
and I'll see what's going on with this. Why is the sound
We
not?
certainly hope to follow Jesus
can
and
hear
be
it.
his disciples.
You can hear it?
Yep.
And do you see yourselves as Jehovah
All right.
God's spokespeople on
No,
earth?
I'm not hearing it for some reason.
No,
but
we
let me.
hear it. We hear it.
That I think would seem to be quite presumptuous to say that we are the only spokesperson that God is using. The scriptures clearly show that someone can act in harmony with God's Spirit in giving comfort and help in the congregations. But if I could just clarify a little, going back to Matthew 24, clearly Jesus said that in the last days, and Jehovah's Witnesses believe these are the last days, there would be a slave, a group of persons who would have responsibility to care for the spiritual food. So in that respect, we view ourselves as trying to fulfill that role.
If you're not making $158,000 per year, but you'd like to,
Oh boy, we got some competition.
Thanks for playing that, Rick. But yeah, isn't that contrary to what we were taught?
Contrary. Oh my goodness. Bold-faced lie. Okay. And so now what happens? Somebody hears that and they're going to probably get stunned, or cognitive dissonance is going to kick in like crazy. And they're going to say, well, I hear what he's saying, but Oh, he probably doesn't mean that. It's really not true. Maybe he's really not, and whereas, I mean, any normal person who's faces the facts realize these guys are liars.
Yeah.
These guys are worse than politicians.
Yeah.
They're performing a function for higher ups.
Yeah.
They're lying for someone.
Yeah. I know there's people that didn't even believe that that was actually Jeffrey Jackson.
Oh, sure.
It was somebody playing him. That's
Yeah.
that's how disconnected they are. That's how
right.
deep the cognitive dissonance runs. That they won't believe that that's his voice, that's him, and they
Right.
still won't believe it.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, at least, okay, let's say it's not Jeffrey Jackson. Well, let's do a little more checking then. Let's probe a little more into other areas and see if what's true or not. I mean, you really want to know that it's the truth, don't you? You really want evidence, don't you? Want to make sure of all things. Well, they don't. They don't want to make sure of all things. They're
Yeah.
afraid. They're afraid of,
Yeah.
of doing anything. And that's the problem. They've got them controlled by fear.
Yeah. I think they're in panic mode right now.
Yeah.
You may not see it, but you can feel it. They're in panic mode right now because they're losing control of so many people. And all at once, it seems. People have been waking up gradually over the decades, but now, so Fran, did you want to share what part of the letter did you want to share with us?
Read it.
Yeah, I'll read it
Oh,
here.
I was going to read it. Okay.
It says, please be advised that our office currently represents us in connection with the possibility of your organization's managing members to engage in disparaging conduct, including but not limited to the making or publishing of offensive, potentially offensive, libelous, or slanderous statements about them. The Greenos have informed us of your practice of encouraging your members to cease all communication and contact with certain members in a practice your organization calls shunning. The Greenos value their name, the name of their family and children, and the reputation of their business, and would not like to see it negatively impacted due to any such practices or disparaging remarks. As loyal members of the Herkimer congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses for many years, who have formed long-lasting relationships with their fellow members, the Greenos respectfully request that you please act in good faith and extend them the common courtesy of not engaging in such conduct. This last paragraph, as such, please let this letter serve as a polite yet firm notice to you that failure to refrain from future engaging in such disparaging conduct may result in them taking formal legal action against your organization and any responsible individuals of the Herkimer congregation. Very truly yours.
Wow, what a powerful letter.
Well, it's friendly.
Friendly but firm.
There was a warning. They gave us a warning.
We don't want to make enemies. They've made us their enemies.
Yeah.
But we're not out to behave like an enemy, because that would only further distance us from our family.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that we're doing is to show them that, well, look, you can do this too. You can gain your freedom. You can show the society that they don't have to control you, that you can control your own life. You can do this.
Yeah.
And that's what we're striving to do.
Wow. What a bold move you guys have made. And you've made such an impact already within the new community, I guess. I understand you created a Facebook group. Is that right?
We did. It's kind of hard because we're still trying to keep it incognito.
Well, yeah, below us.
Okay.
But very soon now we're going to step out. In fact, probably tomorrow, and now go more visible. See, the next thing is we're starting to plan an interview with a radio station, and they're very interested in exposing what's going on. Because we told them there's so many X's around, and their lives are being impacted, with depression and suicide because of shunning. And we want the society, the community to be aware of that. We want them to know about those people that are right around them. Otherwise, they're suffering in anonymity. And
Silence, yeah. Because a lot of people are afraid to speak up.
that's right.
So if anyone's interested, the name of our Facebook group is XJW, Mohawk Valley, Utica / Rome. That's our area that we live in,
Utica,
Central New York. So Mohawk Valley, Utica / Rome. And it's interesting, Rick had mentioned one of the Facebook websites, and so I went on there, and in the course of doing that, I found someone that we knew, and she's been out apparently 4 years.
Just found
half
an hour ago.
Yeah, and so I just messaged her. So I think Facebook is great.
It's working.
She was on Quick Builds with us. We knew her family.
Yep.
I had no idea that she was out, so I just wrote to her.
Because we're just so dying to know which ones are X.
Yeah.
Ones that we've known already, because we cut across so many congregations.
And so then Joe and I wanted to do a meetup in New York City. It never panned out because of different things.
Yeah.
But as a result of reaching out, one of the ex-witnesses contacted us and said, what's your story? And I told her, and she said where she was from. And I said, oh, do you know so-and-so? And she said, that was my father.
Oh, wow.
So right away we had a connection because he was on the Quick Builds. Like he was a big
High-ranking
overseer.
dude.
Everybody knew him.
Oh, everybody.
She said that was my father.
Yeah.
So she's only about an hour away. We invited her over for lunch, and we got to meet her, and we had a very nice time together. Met someone else. So slowly we're meeting people in our area.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And we have to tell you one other thing. We have because we have a business, we have one of those boards where you can change. Were you going to say
No,
that?
go ahead.
Go ahead. You
No.
wanted to say it.
No.
All right. So you change the letters. So Kevin McPhee,
McFree.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Kevin McFree.
Yeah.
Okay. For the viewers that don't know who Kevin McFree is, he puts out videos about JW Dubtown.
But Dubtown.
And
Yeah.
these characters that are Lego characters.
Cartoon characters of the typical life of Jehovah's Witnesses.
And they have, the elders and the kids that are kind of rebellious, and they go to conventions.
It's perfect.
We just love that, and we laugh so much. So on our board we put, who is Kevin McFree? And finally, that was about a week. Finally, one of the elders texted us and said, "Hi, Joe and Fran. Is that your message on the board?" How do you say
He
it?
texted.
Yeah. Was that your message?
Well, I said I'm not gonna respond.
So we didn't respond to him.
So way to go. Wow, that's funny.
So
I wonder where you learned that technique from, by planting seeds with questions. I wonder where you learned that from.
Oh, they're gonna regret it. They're gonna regret it.
Oh wow. I have a feeling you will make them.
Yeah.
That you're going to keep your word on that.
See, we're gonna go the next step, and on the board out there, we're going to say basically XJW Central, or XJW.
Welcome. You said.
Welcome, XJW.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I love the stand that you're taking. Go ahead.
And see, the other thing we want to do is be careful not to alienate customers,
right,
by introducing something controversial like that. So it's got to be something that can kind of span that between the customer and XJWs, something neutral that they can both respond to.
Right.
We'll figure it. I figure everybody could find out who Kevin Free is. And the exes would know who he is.
Or
So,
look it up.
yeah.
How we can go.
That's funny. I have not been able to check the comments. I'm sorry, you guys,
To check.
who are making comments, because I am so focused on Joe and Fran listening to their
I don't see any.
Do we see comments?
I don't see any. Maybe we're not.
pull up the YouTube to see
Oh,
it.
there we are.
Oh my goodness,
Okay.
that hair.
Oh,
Holy
if
smokes.
here they are. Oh, if we can say hello to Celeste in California.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Matter of fact, is there anybody that wanted to come in and say
I
hello?
told her, yeah. Yeah.
She's here?
She was listening. Yep.
Okay.
We met Celeste through another ex-JW, and we have been talking with her. She's out in California,
Yes.
sending pictures back and forth to each other. So it's great.
Thank you all for being here, folks.
Yeah, we have quite a few people tonight. Yeah. Okay, hit *6 if you want to come in and join us and say hello to Joe and Fran. Did I miss anything? Did we cover their story?
Okay.
Say hello, please. Someone in the chat says, my parents refuse to talk about it with me now. They just sound like crazy people.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like there's a conversation going here. Stand up and speak truth. This is Bob. Speak the truth. Jehovah will protect you, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's all CGI and trickery. Yeah, that's what people will say.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I'm encouraged by the fact that I know that there are so many people, friends, in the wings, so to speak. They're PMO. No, PME. No, wait a minute. They're in, but they're out. They're PMOs, and they're hesitating because they haven't figured out how to do it safely enough, or they're confused as to whether or not it's the right thing to do. So what I would say is just keep researching, keep listening, and listen. Basically, listen to yourself.
Yeah, Watchtower tells you don't rely on your own understanding or
Heart is treacherous.
No.
Listen to your heart, listen to your instincts.
Yeah, and check it. I mean, our instincts tell us that we should just be sensitive to the things around us.
Go ahead, sister. Right, you're on with us. We got some people calling in here right now, so go ahead, sister.
Okay.
We got area code 1048. You want to speak up? Say hello to Joe and Fran. Well, we got people coming into the green zone, so let's. I want to say this is really good that you guys are coming on and exposing the Watchtower and being able to see you guys in real time here is really, really good. And Gail's doing a great job, and I'm so glad you guys too are just spilling the beans and letting people know what you guys have been going through. You haven't been out for a year. So look, we got Joe and Fran on with us tonight. Well, why don't you speak up right now? Go ahead and hit *6. Come on in. Say hello to Joe and Fran. Give them a little pat on the back. Tell them you really appreciate them coming out and letting you know what they feel about the Watchtower. And there's so many people right now just like you guys, and they are, trying to do their best to speak up and let people know how evil this is. So go ahead. We got California. Come on in, California.
Hello? Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Joe and Fran. My name is Constance, and I'm calling from Northern California.
Hello.
And I was just watching you on YouTube, and I wanted to say it's so wonderful to see you in person on YouTube. And I just wanted to say, you're such an encouragement to so many people who are leaving the organization now. And I have a couple things I'd like to say. First of all, I wanted to say to Fran, I have the utmost respect for you for standing by your husband when your 4 children were trying to divide your marriage and have you rat on your husband about checking out apostate material. I mean, that's nothing more than like what Adolf Hitler did, back in the day. So I wanted to really say, congratulations for being really loyal to your husband. I think that's amazing. And second of all, just stand strong. And the fact that you have, that attorney with the letter, that takes a lot of guts. And I just have so much respect for you for doing that, because what you did by contacting that attorney is you actually took your own personal power back. Watchtower had it for 36 years. So now you've taken your own power back, and that's the way it should be for everybody. So I just wanted to say hello, and I have the utmost respect for you. And you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Just take it day by day, and we all love you, and we're here to support you. So thank you very much.
And thank you, Constance. Thank you.
Constance, yeah.
Well, isn't that nice? We've got people listening in. We got a lot of people on our telephone line right now. So why don't you speak up? Let's not be bashful here tonight. My goodness gracious, we have a wonderful couple. These guys are doing everything they can to expose the Watchtower. So go ahead. We got a caller coming in. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Fran and Joe.
Hello.
Hi. I was so encouraged by your letter. It really meant a lot to me to hear that. And I was wondering, that's like a project you've been working on for a while. Is there another step that you're taking, another project that you have in mind since you're leaving the Watchtower?
Well, yes. There's an ongoing series of things that we want to do, and timing matters. And for example, maybe, Fran, you can say a little bit of how you felt about the pacing of things. I remember you told me the other morning when you awoke, how you felt about going forward.
Yeah, I just didn't want to support, I don't know exactly my words, but what I say, that I didn't want to support, I didn't want to be any part of hiding or, I don't remember what I said.
Okay, well, what you came across to me was that you didn't want to remain silent and end up silently supporting the Watchtower by your silence, rather, but to go forward and speak out and be known, and be because otherwise we're hiding. Otherwise, we're hiding what the Watchtower is doing.
Yeah, we're
complicit.
Right. Yeah, we're working into their hands, and we don't want to do that.
Right.
So it's a matter of timing, and I don't know why I felt that. I think I had meditated on it and thought, and I didn't want to be part of that.
Well, the reality is that every one of us is going to have to go forward with our own confidence.
Yeah.
And if we're not confident, we won't go forward. That takes time. It takes time, and you have to be sensitive to, your own personal situation, and develop a plan that you can support, and you'll feel strong. You will feel strong if you develop your own plan and get the support that you need to do it too. Whatever support you need.
It takes courage to speak up, and you guys are setting the template right now of how to handle yourself, how to come out together as a couple, and being bold in speaking about the truth about the truth. You guys are the template right now, because so many remain silent, move on with their lives, to the point where other people question, why don't you just move on with your lives? Well, this is why, because your silence makes you complicit.
Yeah, complicit, and we don't want to be complicit.
And if we remain, well, first off, we're studying all the examples of everyone before us, everyone that we've been listening to and watching. They're examples to us, and we've learned.
Well, we do have another caller coming in, so go ahead, caller. Come on in and say hello to Joe and Fran. Area code 614. Did you want to speak up and say something? Go ahead.
Oh, is that me?
That's you. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, this is Brad from Australia, or Bob Roberts in the YouTube channel. I just wanted to say that it's really nice that you guys got out together. So many times in the six screens you hear about stories that people had to leave their abusive ex-Jehovah's Witness husband, or sorry, Jehovah's Witness husband, or an abusive relationship, a narcissistic relationship of some kind. I left my family, my parents and my brothers there. They don't speak to me anymore. It's nice that you have someone to speak to, someone close like best friends. And I think that's really nice. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, well, thank you for saying, but please, seek someone that you can as well, whoever it is.
Yeah.
We all need support. Every one of us needs support.
We were very fortunate because Joe and I were the only ones that became Jehovah's Witnesses. We still have our brothers and sisters and cousins.
We're very fortunate.
And they're very, very, very supportive of us. We've drawn closer to them. And they said, we're so glad that you're out of that. And our niece said, what took you so long? And we've she said to me in all seriousness, she said, Aunt Fran, it is a cult. And I said, yes, Erica, I know. I said, I'm sorry. And I said, I love you so much. And she said, I love you too. And I just, just warmed my heart. So yes, we don't have our kids right now, but we do have a lot of support. One other thing we forgot to mention early on, because it was December that we woke up. In March, we had an appointment with a psychiatrist.
Oh, yeah.
We went in together, and he was very, very,
Very
very,
helpful.
very helpful.
Yes, so good.
And so I recommend if anyone, has any doubts or, worries or wonders, find someone that you can talk with, and, a professional, because in the Watchtower, they always told us not to go see psychiatrists because they're going to brainwash you. They're going to turn you against the witnesses. Well, he was very good. And he said he knew of cases where witnesses did commit suicide. Wow. And so what we were doing, he was very much in favor of it. And he said, keep your family as long as you can. Don't tell them more than you need to.
Right.
And we did for a while. And it was kind of nerve-wracking because I had books that I had to hide that I was reading because our daughter would come over and I had to hide them. I felt like I was the child hiding something from my parents. And one day she came over and Joe had his tablet open to one of the X's and she looked at it and then she looked at me and I said, it's like that. This is it. This is it. And it all went downhill from there. But, you can keep it for a while. But inside, you're like, your gut is like,
I think the sooner everyone is open with what we need to do, that puts power back in our hands. Mm-hmm. It's when we maintain the secrecy that they want us to, that we're just being manipulated and controlled by them. There's a lot more of us than there is of them.
That's true.
Well, I want to come on too. This is Rick Farron here at the Control Panel of Massachusetts. But I wanted to say, you guys hold a very special position in my heart here at the Six Screens. You're kind of like the poster child for PMOs. Really. And no. Well, when you first connected with us, going back a few months ago, probably about 6 months ago, I thought it was really brave of you folks, you, Fran, and Joe, to come on and speak up and let people know where you stood. At that point, you were still kind of, real PMO. You were really in, and yet you were willing to have the courage to come out and speak here on the Six Screens, which is really a platform that, a lot of people are listening in, and could even be elders and what have you, but you guys weren't afraid. So you're the poster child for 2022. You're the poster child.
Well, thank you, Rick. But what may I say, or may I ask, could we be considered POMO at this point?
Well, now at this point, you would be POMO. Yes, you would. You got your letter written, but I have to tell you, when you guys first came on, I was hesitant. I really, really was. you guys wanted to speak up, but I was somewhat hesitant because I'm saying, gee, these guys, I don't want to get them in trouble.
Right, right. No, I understand.
They've got,
Yeah.
they got families still in, and geez, I don't want to be the culprit here, the guy that, disrupted the whole situation. But you guys are very brave, so I give you a gold star, seriously.
You made it all happen.
And
You made it all
actually,
possible.
we hadn't really, I don't know how we discovered your channel, but it hadn't been that long, maybe just the week before. And then you asked, you said, does anyone want to call in? And I said, Joe, we can call in. We just have to number. And we did, and we got on, and I was nervous and everything, but I felt good about, so if anybody's out there and you feel nervous about calling in, once you start talking and you start relating, your nerves start to go away, and we're all friends.
Yeah,
and
we need to hear from each other.
We're true friends. We really are real friends.
That's right. So true.
Yeah. What it reminds me of, I was telling Susan this earlier. If you have a swimming pool, and I remember when I was living in Florida, I had a nice pool in my backyard, and I'd have the witnesses all come over. Come on over. We'll have a nice get together. So I'd be in my bathing suit and I'd jump in the water. But everybody is always hesitant to jump in the pool for some reason. It's like, so I'd go in, come on in. The water's fine. It's fine. There's no alligators, no snakes in there. Come on in. And it's the same thing coming out of the Watchtower. People don't like to speak up, but once they come in, they're in. They love it. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, we appreciate it. We really do.
Well, that does it. Do you have any closing words for us tonight, Joe or Fran? Anything you'd like to share?
We're so thankful for the support that we have for everything here. If the internet goes down, we're in trouble. At least we can have, but at least we know each other enough to phone. We have a very nice, loving friend, brother, friend that calls us and keeps track of us, and that's a beautiful thing. So if there's someone that you can do that with, do that. Phone each other and see how each other is doing. And it means a lot.
Yeah.
And we do that too. He's given us names of friends that we keep track of. And it's a network of friendship that's true and real.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. If anyone wants to call us, we'd be glad to give you our number. We're right in central New York.
And if you're close, stop by.
Yeah. And we're planning a road trip. So we want, I don't know, we're kind of like, we want to come out to Texas and see you, Gail.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah.
And the people we meet and connect with, I tell them we're moderately friendly. So please don't hesitate.
I didn't know you before, but talking with you now, it's like a sense of relief that I feel over you. Is that how you feel? Like a sense of relief?
Yeah, we do. Wow. Yeah, our relatives sense that too. They say, what a difference, because when we were first, we were so nervous and crying, and we're going to lose our family, and we didn't know what to do. It was horrible. It's just horrible.
Well, even just a relief over being engaged in that organization.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it feels like a ton of bricks off your back.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, Gail, I want to say too, and this is amazing as I'm watching Joe and Fran here on YouTube, and we're on a number of other platforms as well. But, they are not the stereotypical apostate.
Apostate. We're going to make that a friendly word. We're going to make that a friendly word.
The Watchtower, they've had this stereotypical apostate with, their nose rings and tattoos and a mohawk. This is
no tattoos.
These guys are not your stereotypical apostates. They're kind and gentle.
Our mission is to make our community aware of what an apostate is, and to be glad of what an apostate is, instead of such a hateful connotation that the society has made it. Oh, it's terrible what they've done. Apostates are beautiful.
Apostate.
I thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you for inviting us
Appreciate
on.
you
And
Thank
Rick,
joining
you.
us
thank
and
you
telling
very
us
much.
the story. Yeah.
And we will meet in
Sorry.
person.
Yes. I can't wait for that.
Fran's driving me crazy with plans. She's got plans. Oh my goodness.
So what are you doing tomorrow? Where are you? Did you decide where you're driving tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know about tomorrow. We'll see.
I don't
But
know.
she's already got cross-country plans.
Oh, I love it.
Oh dear.
Well, we're thinking of February, so it's just kind of like thinking. It's in the thinking mode right
that's
now.
right. That's right.
Well, don't forget now, we're just down here in Massachusetts. We're only a couple of 100 miles away, so you can
Exactly.
visit us on the way by. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Prostate Central.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yes.
The prostate capital of the world.
Capital, yes.
Wow. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight and joining in the conversation with Joe and Fran, our favorite, our favorite apostate couple. Okay. And I always like to close with an encouraging thought. When your circle gets smaller, your vision gets clearer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we see that how that happened tonight and how that works. And so we thank you for joining us on After the Storm tonight. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks. And stay tuned for Apostle Babe. Thank you, Joe.
So much, Gail. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Love
Well,
you.
thank you guys. You guys all have a good one. Thank you very much for coming on and being with us. Love it all. Well, anyways, my goodness gracious, that is, well, I like what Gail just said. Your favorite apostate couple. I'm gonna sanction that. There's no doubt about that. That is our favorite. I mean, how could you not like Joe and Fran? You'd have to have a hole in your head. These guys, they're so friendly. They're honest. They're just trying to help you guys. They're trying to get you to see how evil the Watchtower is. Well, friends, we have a rockin' awesome night going on here tonight. It's just amazing. People calling in from all over the world. And now we're trying to get Apostle Babe on. Apostle Babe, your favorite apostate. She'll be coming on here very, very shortly. So we're looking forward to that. So let's see if we can't get her on. But in the meantime, I'll tell you what, I am tiptoeing through the tulips tonight. I'm very, very pleased with everything I see happening here at the 6 screens. You know, when you're doing live broadcasting, there can always be some snafus, but everything went smooth tonight. Everything went smooth tonight, and so good to see Joe and Fran. And I am just elated that things are really all working out. There's so many people getting out of the Watchtower and coming on and telling their stories. How could you not like it? So we really, really do like it. So let's see what's going on. We're trying to get Apostle Babe in here once again. So there she is. And we'll be going to Apostle Babe program. Hang on, Linda. We're coming to you in just a couple of seconds. But anyways, we're going to end this program. Now, don't go anywhere. Come right back into YouTube and Facebook. We're on all the platforms tonight. So we have the favorite apostate coming up next. Stay with us. We're going to end the broadcast right here. Gail did a great job. And keep up the good work, Gail. You're doing wonderful. And we really appreciate your efforts that you're putting forward. Thank you. All right.